Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Stella. If you're just coming across my video, you're highly welcome. Kindly subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell because I post sewing tutorials on this channel and they are super detailed and easy. Okay? Trust me, you're going to be hooked. All right? Now, in today's video, we're going to be revamping this blouse. Okay, so we're going to be revamping this blouse. So that what that means is that we're going to simply change the style of this blouse, but we'll still make use of the lace. Okay, so here is the lace. This is my mom's blouse and it's over 30 years. Okay, I mean the blouse. All right, so I decided to just change it to something modern. Okay, so the only thing we're going to take out of this blouse is the lace. All right, we'll make use of other fabric, other materials, but we're going to be taking off the lace alone. Okay, so this is it. Now let's look at the materials that we're going to be working with. Okay, so here are the materials. All right, now this is 2 years of bridal satin, doll face bridal satin. Okay, and we're going to be making use of our bra cup, okay, and zip. Now we're going to be interfacing the bridal satin as well. All right, so this is it. Now let's jump right into the drafting of the basic full scale block because we're going to be making use of a full scale block for this blouse. All right, now here's my half scale block. I've gone ahead to draft this just so that we can save time. Our neckline is 3 by 3. To get the chest line, I simply did the bust round divided by 6 plus 1. All right, and her bust that is 1 inch. So let's go ahead and label. This is the chest line, bust length, under bust length, and the front length or the half length. The same thing applies to the back. This is the chest length and the back length. Now the bust that is 1 inch. Okay, so we'll go ahead now and extend this to a full scale block. And the first thing we need is the blouse length, all right? And the blouse length is 25 inches. So I'll go ahead and place my tape here. And so I have my 25 inches line already drawn, okay? So I'll go ahead and mark the blouse length for the back. And to do that, I'll simply subtract the bust dart of 1 inch from the front blouse length, okay? So the blouse length for the front is 25 inches. Now for the back, you subtract the bust dart of 1 inch from it. So 25 minus 1 will give us 24. All right. So I will simply come up from this line, okay, by the 1 inch bust dart. All right. Now, if your own bust dart is 2 inches, go ahead and come up from this line by 2 inches. Okay. So I'll go ahead and extend this line. All right. So this is the back length. Okay. So we're no longer going to make use of this space at the back. All right. So here is the blouse length, okay, for the back, and this is the blouse length for the front. The difference is the 1 inch bust dart. Now let's proceed with our marking. All right, so the next thing we're going to mark is the blouse hip. Now the blouse hip is simply the circumference around where the blouse is stopping. Okay, so for her blouse hip is 44 inches. Now 44 inches divided by 4 will give us 11. So I have my tape placed on the center front and I will mark 11 inches. All right, now I'll repeat the same thing on the back. So on the full length, I'll go ahead and mark my 11 inches. Now I'll proceed to connect it. So I'm connecting from the waist to the blouse hip. Yeah. All right, so this is what we have. Now I'll go ahead and extend the back tightening to the hem of the blouse. So I tightened the center back with 1 inch. Okay, so from the hem of the blouse you come up by 2 inches. All right, so from the hem of the blouse I'm just coming up by 2 inches. Then I'll go ahead and extend using a straight line to that 2 inches. Now if you leave it this way is perfect, but I don't like leaving it this way, so I will extend that tightening to the hem of the blouse. The essence is so that we will eliminate every form of bulge at the back. All right, moving on, let's extend our dart. So from the hem also I'm coming up by 2 inches for the back dart. Now I'll go ahead and measure from the center back to the dart. All right, now her bust span is 4 inches. Okay, but from the center back is 5. So I'll simply extend the dark leg to touch the blouse hem. All right. Then I'll go ahead and connect the dark legs to the 2 inches that we came up with. Okay. So, and here we have it. The back dart is ready. All right, so we're going to repeat the same thing on the front block as well. So her bust span is 4 inches. Now I have my tip placed on the center front, and I'll go ahead and make a mark at 4 inches. And I'll proceed to connect it. So I'm using a straight line to connect all the way to the hem. All right, now I'll come up by 2 inches from the hem of the blouse. So the whole essence of why I'm coming up by 2 inches is because I don't want the area around the hem to be tight. Remember that this is a blouse, so from your waist down should be a bit free. Okay, so that's why I came up by 2 inches on both the front and the back. Now moving on, let's mark the under bust round. So her under bust round is 35 inches divided by 4 will give us 8.75. So I'll come in with my tape and I'll place it on the under bust line. All right, now I'll go ahead and measure 3 inches, okay, from the center front, and I'll make a mark there. So from the center front, I first measured 3 inches and I made a mark there. Okay, now I'll move my tape to the second dart leg and I'll continue from that 3 inches. Remember, our under bust round divided by 4 is 8.75. Now, from where we have our 8.75 to the side front, you will see that what we have there is just about 0.25. But that notwithstanding, I will still use ½ inch to tighten the under bust. Okay, so in total, we went inwards by ½ inch from the center front and ½ inch on the side as well. Okay, so let's move over to the off shoulder proper. Now there are 2 methods of drafting your off shoulder. You either connect from the neck width to the bust point or from the mid shoulder to your bust point. Either of them is correct. Okay, now for this method, I'm going to go ahead and connect from my neck width to the bust point. So, and I'll do this using a straight line. All right, we have a detailed video on how to draft off shoulder, and I'll leave the link in the description box. Moving on, let's mark the cleavage line. And cleavage line is simply where you want your off shoulder to start. Okay, so I want her off shoulder to start from 5 inches. All right, so I will go ahead and place my tape from the starting point and I'll make a mark at 5 inches. Now we want this cleavage line to run across to the back block as well. So I will measure my 5 inches on the back block as well. All right, and I will connect it using a straight line. Remember, this is our cleave line, or simply the off shoulder line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and label it as my CL. Next thing we need to mark is the strap to strap measurement. And remember, to get your strap to strap, you're simply going to divide your shoulder measurement by 2 and you subtract 2. Okay, her shoulder measurement is 16. 16 inches divided by 2 will give you 8, and 8 inches minus 2 is 6. It's a standard method that should apply to everyone. So I'll go ahead and make a mark at 6 inches. All right, now we need to measure what we have left. Okay, so from that 6 inches mark, I'm measuring to the arm side or the armhole curve, and what I have there is 1.25. Now we need to divide that 1.25 into 2, but not evenly. Okay, so from the center front, I'll mark ½ inch. All right, and from the side front, I'll mark 0.75. So ½ inch plus 0.75 will give you a total of 1.25. So we have tightened the cleave line properly. Now let's go ahead and connect it to the bust point line. So I'm connecting the 0.75 to the bust point line. All right, and I will also connect the 0.5 line to the bust point line as well. Okay, this is what we have. Now let's go ahead and connect our under bust marks. So to do this, we need our French curve. All right, so I'll place it, and like I'll always say, ensure that your curve runs through your cleave dart legs. Okay, this is the only way you can get an even curve. All right, so I just connected the center front. Now I'll go ahead and connect the side front as well. Okay, kindly pay attention to the placement of the curve because it's important. You don't want your bust point area to be pointed at all on your finished outfit. Okay, now I'll go ahead and extend the tightening to the waistline. Okay, so I'll do this using a straight line. All right, now I'll come in with my ruler and I'll connect from the underbust line to the front length. Okay, I know that we have done this a couple of times in most of my videos. Okay, all right, so this is what we have. Now I don't like leaving the blouse hem, the hem of the blouse just like this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and make use of 0.25 on each of the sides, just so that we can give it a better shape. Okay, so I'm going to connect from the underbust line to the 0.25 mark that we just made on the blouse hem. Now this is optional. You can leave yours this way, okay, or you can go ahead and shapen it further with 0.25 on each side. All right, so in total we have just made use of 0.5 on the blouse hem, and we'll need to add it back, okay, because in pattern drafting all your measurements must be complete. All right, so I just made a mark on 0.5. Okay, now when we're done, we will connect back to that 0.5. So we're going to repeat the same thing on the back. First thing we're doing on the back is to extend our dart to touch the cleave line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and extend my dart to touch the cleave line, and we'll go ahead and mark our strap to strap measurement. So from the back tightening and not from the center back, I will mark my strap to strap measurement of 6 inches, and I'm using 1/2 inch to tighten the back. All right, now the 1/2 inch, we're going to divide it into 2, so that will give us 0.25 on each side. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect it. Like I always say, you can either connect to the 1 inch we stepped down on the chest line, or you can connect to the waist, but I like to connect to the waist. The whole essence is so that we can eliminate all form of bulginess, any form at all, okay, on the back. Now let's connect our new armhole. So from the chest line, I'm coming down by 0.9 inch, okay. Now the 0.9 inch applies to everyone. All right, so I'll go ahead and extend using a straight line to touch the 0.9 inch that I just marked. Okay, so I'll also square out that line to touch the side front, and this is it. Remember our methods of off shoulder. I'll go ahead and use a straight line to connect to our new armhole, and here we have it. Now we're going to repeat the same thing on the back. So from the chest line on the back, I'm coming down by 0.9 inch, okay, and I'll square it out using a straight line. All right, now I'll go ahead and finish that up, and I'll connect to our strap to strap measurement using a straight line. And here we have it. We are I will not say that we are almost done, okay, because we're yet to close the bust dart, and we're yet to through all our dart legs, and it's super important. Okay, now let's tighten the back, the hem of the blouse on the back. So just like we did on the front, we'll use 0.25, okay, on each side to tighten that part. All right, now I'll go ahead and connect it back to the waist length. Okay, so like I said, this is optional. You can leave your blouse the way it was. All right, so this is it. We are 50% done. All right, now let's go ahead and label before we cut out. Okay, so let's proceed to label. This is the center back line, and here is the side back line. This is the side front, and here is the center front. Okay, now I'll come in with my scissors and I'll separate the two patterns so that we can do further alteration. Here we have it. I have separated the two patterns. Now for this blouse, we're going to start our alteration from the back. Okay, so we'll go ahead and measure our neckline depth on the back, and I'm going to make use of 1 inch. So my back neckline depth is 1 inch. Okay, but before we will connect, we'll try and through the dart legs. Okay, so it's simple. I'll try to raise the pattern paper along the marked dart line. Okay, it's not that difficult. All right, it's not that difficult. Just raise your pattern paper along the marked line, and you rest it on the second dart leg. Now I'll come in with my ruler, and I'll simply connect to the 1 inch neckline depth. Okay, yeah. So I've connected the neckline depth, and I'll go ahead and cut this out. Yeah. And here we have it, the back is ready. All right, but remember that we're here to add back the ½ inch that we used to tighten the blouse hem. So we'll note that, but for now let's come in with the front. Okay, so here's the front. Now the first thing we're doing to the front is that we need to add back that ½ inch that we used to tighten the blouse hem. Okay, so I'll come in with my ruler and I'll connect to that ½ inch. Okay, it's really important. All right, and here we have it. I have connected. Moving on, we'll need to cut from the blouse hem to the bust point line so that we can close the bust dart, okay, for further alteration. So I'll go ahead and close my bust dart. All right, now I'll come in with my masking tape and I'll tape that down permanently. Now we need to blend the side front, okay, so just use your straight line to do that, and you connect it back to the waistline. All right, I just blended the side. Now let's blend the bust point line. Like I always say, this is not compulsory, except if that part is looking a bit pointed to you. Okay, and I just blended it. It's that simple. Now let's throw the dart legs. Okay, remember, dart throwing is simply a process of ensuring that your dart legs are equal. Okay, so I'll go ahead and raise my pattern paper along the first dart leg and I'll rest it on the second dart leg. Okay, now the moment you do this, your pattern paper should remain flat, just like mine. All right, now let's mark the neckline depth. So for the front, I want the neckline depth to be 1.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and make a mark at 1.5 inches and I'll come in with my curve ruler to connect. So I want the front to have a bit of a sweetheart shape. All right, so I'll go ahead and connect that, and here we have it. Our neckline is ready. Now when you open it up, this is the way it's going to look. Now if you pay attention, you will see that one of the dart legs is longer. Okay, so that's the essence of trimming your dart legs first before you connect your before you mark your neckline. Now I'll proceed to cut this out and we'll continue. Yeah. All right, so this is it for the front pattern. Now I'll come in with the back. All right, so that we can look at it, and here we have it. So we have our pattern set ready. All right, now I'll go ahead and add additional pattern paper, okay, so that we can add that ½ inch for the back. All right, so I'll simply mark my ½ inch and I'll come in with my straight line, okay, my ruler to connect from the waist to the ½ inch mark on the hem. Okay, because your pattern must be complete, and here we have it. All right, now I'll go ahead and cut this off. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. The back is complete. Now let's look at the shaping of the hem of the blouse. All right, so for the shaping from the hem, I will come up by 1.5 inches. Okay, so and I'll go ahead and connect it using my curve ruler. Okay, now for the shape of your hem is totally your choice. All right, you can go ahead and leave it this way, but bear in mind that the moment you go up by 1.5 inches on the side, you're automatically shortening the length of the blouse. So what I normally do is, by the time I go up by 1.5 on the side, I will come down in the front by 1 inch. Okay, that is entirely your choice. So I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing on the back as well. All right, whatever you do on the front, you need to do the same on the back. Okay, so this is one shape. Now another shape is to go ahead and use this other part of the French curve, okay, just to shape the hem. Now, like I said, it's entirely your choice. All right, so I'll go ahead and cut out the first one. Okay, now this is what we have. All right, our pattern set is ready. Remember that this is an off-shoulder blouse. Okay, so we'll go ahead and transfer all our pattern to fabric. All right, so I'll transfer it to the fabric and we will continue. I'll proceed to draft my off-shoulder sleeve and I'll transfer all to the fabric. All right, and here we have it. I've transferred our pattern to the fabric. Now let's look at it one after the other. Remember, we're going to be making use of the bridal satin as both the fashion fabric and the lining. All right, so this is the side front. Okay, so I have 2.5 inches side seam allowance added. Okay, so this is the center front piece. Now we have ½ inch added all around. Now let's look at the center back. So I added my 1 inch zip allowance and I have ½ inch all around. Okay, now let's look at the side back. So for the side back, I have my ½ inch all around and I have my side seam allowance of 2.5 inches. Now we'll go ahead and join. So we're joining fabric to fabric and lining to lining. Okay, so I'll go ahead and join this. Okay, remember I have interfaced all of them at this point. Okay, so I'll go ahead and join them. Now let's look at the lace. So I'll come in with the lace. All right, and I've gone ahead to lose it. Okay, I hope you can still recognize the lace. So I've loosed both the front and the back lace fabric. Okay, so here it is. Now we'll first join. All right, so we'll first join the main fabric and the lining before we will look at the lace. Okay, so I'll go ahead and join them, fabric to fabric and lining to lining. All right, and here we have it. I have joined. Okay, this is the front, so I have it joined and pinned. Okay, and it's for a reason. All right, and we'll look at that reason as we proceed. So this is the front. Now I'll come in with the back pieces. I have it joined. Okay, this is the back. I've joined it and I have pressed it. You can see all our stitches are open. Okay, now I've also gone ahead to shape both the front and the back. So I have my shaping done on it. All right, so I'll go ahead now and take off the loose stitch on the center back. All right, so that we can place the lace on it. All right, but before then, I'll come in with the lace for the back. All right, so here are the two lace pieces for the back. Now I'll proceed to take off the loose stitch on the center back. Okay, and I've taken it off. Now it's time for us to pin down the lace. So you will need to choose which of them is your fashion fabric, because we're going to pin down the lace on the fashion fabric. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place it. Now I want the original part that was facing the hem of the blouse to be the part that is facing towards the shoulder. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place the lace this way. Now you need to place this as flat as you can. All right, so I'll come in with my pins and we're going to pin down the lace on the fashion fabric. Remember, we're not making use of the lining but the fashion fabric. So I have the lace pinned down, all right, on the both sides. Now I will go ahead and stitch the edges. Okay, I'll stitch down the edges and I'll hand tack the middle. Okay, I'll use needle and thread to hand tack the needle, the middle part. All right, so I'll do this on the both sides of the back. All right, and here we have it. I have stitched down the edges of the lace to the fashion fabric. All right, and I also tacked the mid part. Okay, so this is what we have on the back. Now I'll go ahead and fix my zip on the back. All right, so let's look at the front. Remember, we have the fashion fabric and the lining of the front pinned together, okay, with my bra cup inside. So I'll go ahead and place my lace this way. Now why I pinned it together is so that I can see the shape of the bust area. All right, so I have the lace placed on it now, and I'll come in with my pins and I'll proceed to pin it down on the fashion fabric. So I'll be referring to the satin that we're using for the front as my fashion fabric, okay, and the other one as the lining. So we're going to repeat the same thing that we did on the back. Okay, and here we have it. I have pinned the front. All right, I've also gone ahead to join the side front to the center front, okay, so that we will not waste further time on this. All right, so this is what we have. I have it joined. You can see the stitches, okay, and I pressed it open, and pressing your seams is very crucial. All right, now this is the lining. So here's my bra cup. I have joined it. Now the sides, on your side seam, you will need to iron that part in a triangular form. The reason is so that you can ease that particular side, okay. So that's the whole essence. Now it's time for us to turn the hem. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place the lining on the fashion fabric. The right sides will be facing each other, okay, and the wrong side will be facing me. Now the areas that you're seeing scanty, I'll use the lace patches to tack on that area. Okay, so I'm placing my lining on the fashion fabric. All right, and I'll proceed to join. Okay, so we're going to stitch the hem. All right, we're going to stitch from the zip to the hem, all right, and to the other side. Now on one side of the zip, I like to leave a little bit of opening, because that is where your clients can easily access the inside of the blouse, okay, if they need to maybe adjust it as a result of a weight gain or weight loss. All right, now I'll go ahead and use the lining to turn the hem of the blouse, turn the zip, and turn the neckline. All right, the only place we're leaving open is the armhole, because we're going to be fixing our sleeve. So I've gone ahead to cut out the sleeve. All right, so I've gone ahead to cut out the sleeve. Okay, now I only added 1 inch sewing allowance here, okay, and ½ inch at the sleeve head. Okay, now at this lower part is completely folded. All right, as you can see, it's completely folded. So I placed it towards the stretchy part. So the stretchy part is on the horizontal. Okay, now this vertical part, okay, the stretchiness here is not that much. It's stretching more on the horizontal. Okay, so this is the way it is. Now I'll go ahead. So I simply folded the fabric into two. Okay, place the pattern and cut out. Now I'll go ahead and take off the pins, all right, so that we can rearrange it the way we'll sew it. So this is it. I'll go ahead and open it up, okay, and refold it. So I'm folding it into two now. All right, so this is it. I'm folding it into two. Okay, so here we have it. I have folded it into two. All right, so that when we are done, this is how it's going to be. All right, so I have it. So I have it folded into two now. All right, now I went ahead to cut out this piece of net. Okay, so unfold is measuring 2 inches. All right, so unfold is measuring 2 inches. Okay, now we're going to use it to turn this sleeve head. All right, so I'll go ahead and place it on any side that you consider the right side. Okay, so I'll place it here, all right, this way. Okay, and I'll go ahead and use ½ inch to turn it. All right, so I'll use ½ inch to so I'll go ahead and stitch this down on ½ inch. All right, afterwards I will top stitch it to the side of this. Okay, and I'll flip it inwards this way. All right, so after I'm done doing this, I'll fold the sleeve into two, and we're going to be doing French finishing. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Now let me show us the one that I have done. Okay, so here's the one that I have done. Now you can see, okay, I used it to turn the sleeve head. All right, okay, and so this is it. Now I went ahead to stitch it on the right side first, okay, then pushed everything to the wrong side and just top stitched. So this is the wrong side. You can see how neat it's looking. Okay, and let me turn to the right side. So here is the right side of the sleeve. All right, so here's the right side of the sleeve. Okay, so that part that we used to turn it in, this is it flipping inwards. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other piece of sleeve. All right, then I will show us how to fix it. Now, for those wondering if your sleeve is going to match, okay, let me come in with the blouse, all right, so that we will look at it once and for all. Now, here is our armhole, okay, so here is our armhole, and here is the sleeve, the one that I have turned, all right. Now, you know that on the armhole, we're going to use ½ inch here, okay, to turn the neckline. So I'm going to step down here by ½ inch, okay. So I'll step down here by ½ inch, and I'll go ahead and place the sleeve. Okay, so I'll go ahead and match it. The side seam on the sleeve should match the side seam on the blouse. All right, so I'll place it this way. Okay, and let's trace the sleeve. All right, can you see it's stopping exactly ½ inch before the neckline, which is where we're going to turn with the lining. Okay, the same thing applies to the back. All right, so this is it. Okay, so I'm matching the side seam. Okay, so this is it for the back. Can you see it's stopping exactly ½ inch before the neckline? Okay, all right, so I'll go ahead and use the lining to turn the fashion fabric. Okay, and we will look at it. All right, and here we have it. I have turned the hem, all right, and the neckline, so you can see how neat this is. Now for the neckline, you can go ahead and top stitch, or you will use your hemming gum, okay, so that when you press it, the lining will not be showing on the right side. All right, now let me open up the inside so you can see the inside, and it looks very clean. All right, now here's the tiny opening I was talking about. Okay, so finally I like to use my blind stitches to just close that part. All right, now I'll come in with the sleeves. All right, so I'll come in with the sleeves and I'll go ahead and join them. All right, and here we have it. I have joined the sleeve to the armhole, and this is looking beautiful already. Okay, now let's look at the inside. All right, I just love the rich effect that bridal satin gives to any outfit. Now I'll proceed to overlock the rough edges. Okay, now to the sleeve, I would like to attach a flounce, but remember we made use of 2 yards of bridal satin and it's not enough. So this is it. Now I went ahead to cut out just a 360 degrees flare, and the width is 5 inches. All right, now I have 2 of them pinned together, and I will go ahead and attach a crinoline to this. Okay, so I will use the crinoline, okay, just to turn the edges of the flare. Okay, now I'll go away 0.5 inch away from the edge, okay, before I'll start sewing down the crinoline. So I'll do this all round. All right, and I'll use, now I'm going to attach the crinoline to the lining part of this flare. Okay, and here we have it. I have attached it. Okay, so I stitched it down and I top stitched it as well. Okay, I don't know if you can see the stitch lines. So after you turn it, you will need to top stitch it on the lining part just so that it can remain stable. Okay, so this would have come out better if it was a flounce, but this is okay, we'll make use of it. All right, so I'll go ahead and just form little pleats. Okay, and I will attach it on the sleeve. Remember, we're attaching this just on one of the sleeves. Okay, so I'll form something like this and I'll hand tack it to one of the sleeves. All right, and that will be it. Okay, the open areas that we have on the blouse, I'll use the patches to close that up. Yeah. And here we have it. You can see the before of the blouse and the after. Thank you guys for watching. Kindly subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Yeah.